Hello, 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 and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion, and today is Wednesday. I hope you're having a great Wednesday and stuff. Let's get right to it. So lately we've been working on UI design stuff inside of Figma and mocking it up in CodePen. And so recently we finished the overall structure of the footer. I'm going to call it the structure. It's got some decent styling. I would change the links and of course make these links as well, the socials. Maybe put some headings on these sections, but that's going to be good for now. That's what we're going to keep it at. Yeah. And with that, we're started. Now that we're started, hi Dukasoft. I hope you're having a great day. You indeed were first. Going around changing the color of your name on my what is this called? OBS Stream Chat Doc. I think that's what it's called. It's crazy. The first two messages were hot pink, and the third message was pastel pink. Something. Anyway, hi. Hello. Okay, so we're going to figure out what we're doing today as far as Figma. I do have something else that I want to explore that might be more interesting than continuing UI design. But I really do want to get through the UI design and do it correctly. I was trying to post a message in Discord saying that the stream had started. There. I did it. Cliffhangers. I love hangers. I use them for everything. Wait, what? You know, like for the times when I forgot my keys and retrieving my ring from the sink faucet because it fell down the sink faucet, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Hangers are really useful tools. Anyway, that was terrible. So yeah, so for now, we are going to figure out what to do with these sections. I really, really want some placeholders to actually be filled in and no longer like placeholders. What are you gonna do? Nothing, that's what. Okay. I don't know where I am. I'm a little bit on the lost side. Okay. So I think what we talked about was using the striping from this design here for the sections. So let's see what that looks like. We're using the default app background, which is this background dark color, which is some dark color, which is 0E0E0F. Ooh, that was hard to find. So let's change our stripe rule or evens, I think. Section primary. I'm gonna just put it in directly. Okay, that gives us that one. And then the odd is going to be the, what are you, the regular dark purple? Purple 4. Which is what it currently is? That doesn't look dark enough to be purple 4. Are we sure that's purple 4? It's gotta be. Why does it look so bright? It did look like the third one, didn't it? I agree. Let's use purple 3. I think that'll be better anyway. I've already lost it. I've lost my mind. There you are. Let's use 3. Yeah, that looks better anyway. So we still need to style this and put the image placeholders in for that one too. Right now, the image placeholders that I have in mind are going to take up a space like this where they're overlapping each other. I just don't know what content to put on there, but we'll get it eventually. So I guess now that we know that, let's go ahead and do that here. So you are going to be a fill of some dark color. And you, this section, why aren't you guys staying centered? I will group you as our image group. May the 4th be with you. Wait, you're a little early, aren't you? That's okay. I will allow it. Center horizontally. There we go. TBD Gamer with a resub. Thank you so much for that. You definitely know you don't have to do that, but I do greatly appreciate you just being. TBD Gamer is a fantastic streamer. If you guys have not had... Whoa! Stand Up done in 7 minutes. If you guys have not had the opportunity to watch a TBD Gamer stream, I strongly recommend trying to catch him if you can. He streams at 7 a.m. Eastern time, which is UTC -4 currently. And he goes for about 2 hours every weekday. Works on 2 different projects. One is Water Drink Water, which right now Finite is getting water delivered to him from a very, very sleepy water pouring clone. But anyway, Water Drink Water. I'm sorry, do you want me to use the term GMT? I'm pretty sure they're the same, but yeah. It's almost like the difference between... No, it's not even that. This one is just an alias. Anyway, Water Drink Water is a community app where he invites everyone in his community to participate. It's open source. He only works on it during the stream, does PR reviews on the stream whenever there are any, which I think there was only one from Junicus, maybe a couple. But if you're interested in just participating in this, it's a great opportunity to collaborate with more people and get that experience of working on a project with more than just yourself or more than a small team, for example, but like an actual open source project. And then on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I don't know if I said, but he works on that on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, he works on an app he calls Liquid Sky for now. He was blessed with a Thindle today. I was there for it. And Liquid Sky is a project management application intended to, or geared towards developers with, the actual product in mind, the development process in mind, instead of just the administrative project manager just start creating tasks, let them fall through to the backlog, disappear for a while, and then be like, oh, whatever happened to that one thing? It's like, oh, we were gonna do it, but we forgot about that. And hello, Zaid. Happy Wednesday to you. Things are moving forward, it seems like, at a very, very rapid pace. So let's see what purple 4 looks like here. Yeah, it does. I don't know if it's just me, but it looks brighter on this one. Yeah, that's definitely not purple 4. There is no way that's purple 4. Oh, do you see that? It's purple 4. One day I need to record your description of my projects. You make them sound way better than I do. You do you do a very good job yourself. So the thing that's happening here is that the section, or some part of this section, the background has a 20% opacity on it. Do I want to do that? I don't know. Let's just see what it looks like. I mean, it looks fine with whatever color this is. The same color that I have the scroll bar thumb, which is probably not a good idea. I'm going to make the scroll bar thumb gray instead. Oh, guess what? I have the mic, so I am going to clarify, not defend my position, but clarify. TBD Gamer made a very valid point about all of the effort that I am spending on doing the UI stuff, and like one of the comments that he made was how the CSS just keeps growing and growing. I did say this on your stream. I don't know why I need to reiterate it. It just feels better to say it out loud. I don't know. But the CSS here is not like the final CSS. This is a mock-up. And this is definitely not, I mean, like, I would definitely have this much CSS, so you aren't wrong in that. But I would have them broken up into individual files and then have isolated CSS where appropriate. It's crackerly. Thank you for telling me. Does anyone else experience me in a crackerly kind of way? I will try to listen to myself by pushing this button, audio, monitor, and output on my microphone. And it's not crackly to me at the moment. I would love to blame... Well, it's so hard to... It is crackly a bit. Oh, I'm peeking. I am peeking. Got it. Meow. Okay. Crackle? Crackle. I think I got it. Nice of you to show up, Devlux. Says TVD. Dang, man. It's still peaking. Sound settings. Microfono. Pull you down here. Turn you up here. Okay, how about now? When I get all excited, doesn't seem like it's crackling. Good. Good job, you. I need to turn up. I'm still hearing myself. It's so distracting. Off. Okay, there we go. Thindle. So hello Deflux and hello Thindle. Thindle said to TBD Gamer, I will grace you with my presence once again. Hi, friends, he says. Try the yell test. I will not yell. I don't even know if I can yell. The most I can do is a really loud chuckle without realizing. Oh, and my sneezes, I guess. I could not mute the microphone the next time I have to sneeze. Those are usually pretty loud. Okay, so reading back TBD Gamer's messages. I would love to blame it on you, Deflux, but one lion, yes, it's crackling when you get a little louder. Okay, when I get excited and I do the loud chuckle smirk and it goes past the and the thing is, like, the audio levels themselves look appropriate to me, but the gain on the microphone itself and the Windows setting and all of them together just make it go. I can't process that sound. ¿Dónde más? Where were we? Let's test it. Blazor is horrible. What? Look here. That's as loud as I get. And it's funny because when I act like I'm getting louder, I just get quieter. That emote is very appropriate at the moment, by the way. I have food. I also have a cat right next to me looking all, can I have some? Nom. All right. So we have a healthy crew. I kind of want to switch gears ish a little because I am wanting to do, I don't know, I'll call it algorithms on this stream today instead of design work, but I also want to do the design work. But I'm in the middle of a big redesign or addition of functionality. I don't know which it is. Is it a redesign or is it additional functionality? Because it exists-ish, but it was never fully implemented. It was kind of just like hacked together and then like, here, this is good enough, let's go with this. So I'm wanting to kind of talk with you guys. You be loud in German? Probably not. I cannot speak a German, so nope. Sad kitty plus salad equals even more sad kitty. Okay, let's see if I can illustrate this. I'm sorry, did you say illustrate? I sure did. Can we use a fig jam for this? We might be able to use a fig jam for this. An idea board for, I'm gonna just write it the way I would. Hashing out an algorithm to be implemented. Let's do it. Give me some boards. Oh my gosh, why did you give me a white background? Like, why did you get rid of everything and replace it with this? Can I undo? No, I just lost the entire board that was there. What? What? So guys, if you ever are on FigJam and you have an existing board, don't regenerate. Don't let the AI thing regenerate something for you, because it's just going to overwrite your stuff. I mean, I'm sure I was doing something wrong. Like maybe I had the background and the other objects selected when I did that and I replaced it that way, but I should be able to undo back to it, but I can't. Is there like a version? Okay, cool. There are autosaved versions. I do need to travel back in time. Why is it grayed out? Oh, for paid teams, of course. So we're gonna encourage you to pay for a feature by doing something like, we know that you're gonna push this button, not design GM. So we're just gonna anyway. I'm moving on. Close, move, hush. All right, here we go. Clearly articulate the problem. So we need a way to track historical changes I need to make this like general and generic for the stream and still be able to apply whatever we come up with to the actual application. So we need to be able to, we need a way to track historical changes made to database records in a way that we can display information in an app using the history of the record for a given date range. That is a terrible description. Does this make sense to anyone? Anyone at all? So it's almost like an audit table where we have a database table and it has an ID column. And then we're just gonna do a value column and call this ID 1, and value will be value 1, 2, value 2, 3, value 3. Okay, so this is one table here. Main table. Then we have another table. Oops. That is essentially our audit table. So main table history. And how can I do this in a way where we still have... Well, okay, I'm going to show you how it's currently set up, and then we can decide how we can because like I can modify the tables and everything too. We can decide how to restructure the tables. I'll keep that in mind. I'll keep that in mind. Oof. Okay, I'll show you how it currently is. old value. Yeah. No worries. Any ideas are welcome. Don't worry about being a professional or knowing the right way to do this. We're going to call this grouping ID. Yeah, we're going to call this grouping ID because this is another important thing to track for this hysterical table. So let's say that this is grouping ID 1, 1, and then you'll be 2. Okay, so these first two values are related because they're in the same group. These second two values are related because they're in the same group. Cool. And then this is just a discriminator column, normal ID column that you would have in a relational database. We're just going to have it be an incrementing integer. This is an ID from another table, so this is a foreign key to another group table where this actually means something specific. Okay. So in this table, we also have the group ID that the record change is happening for, or 3, or 2. So let's say that what happened previously, actually, no, I'm going to set this up completely. So let's get value 2 back. And the course value 4. And old value for all of these is going to be empty because there is no old value. This is the start of these records existing. So I need one more, which is effective date. Okay. I'm just going to make these. And we're going to have this one effective on 1/1/2024, even though that's not what it's going to look like. That would be on the 15th. And then we'll have this one be on the same date as the first one and same date as the first one. Okay. So here's what our initial state for everything looks like. In our main table, we have these existing values. These are the current values as of right now. Whatever right now is, like it could be a specific point in time, but it is what we are currently living in, whatever that means. Then we have the history of the table, which is these are how those records got added. So as soon as we added a record here, we got an audit record essentially that says the old value was null, the new value is this value with a group ID of this. So the group ID will never change. That's not one of the fields that we're going to audit. Yeah, and I'm already thinking of some stuff too. I don't want your message to get too far away, so I'm gonna paste it in here. This is a Dukasoft message that I need to remember. Okay. Yeah, and I'm already thinking of some ways, like just saying this out loud is helping me to think through some of the other things. Anyway, so here it is today, April. Actually, you know what? Let's say it was a couple weeks ago. So April 1st, that's what, 3 weeks ago. I was close, okay? 3 weeks ago, we replaced value 2. I'm pointing at value 1. Value 2 with value 5. And so what that would look like is in the application, we do a replacement and we say value 2 should now be value 5, which also pushes a record to our history table, gets its own ID and everything. Where the old value was value 2, and it's now value 5. And this is still the same group ID. And the reason group ID is important is because there is a possibility, and actually we'll do that one next. So I'll show you what the possibility is. And this is going to be effective 20240401. So for our new possibility, we're adding value 5 also to group 2. So we're adding a new record, value 5, to group 2, which gives us a history record of null to value 5 to group 2, effective, let's just say the same day. This could be a different day. Did that one make sense? I hope so. I forget, the key ID might want to add that to my idea. Yep, that's definitely what I have in mind. Definitely. And I think what happened, the reason that I didn't do this when I threw it together the first time was there was already an existing history table, but it was split up into like 4 or 5 different history tables, and I wanted to combine them into one history table because they're for essentially the same data. I said data. But yes, I think you're going in the right direction, Dukasoft. I think that's what we're going to do. Data. Thank you for letting me say data. So there we go. We have a possibility where the same value could appear in multiple groups. And so what this means is in the application, when we're displaying information, when we're displaying these as values in a page, or let's say group 1 with the date range of, there's a joke that says, what did one snowman say to the other snowman? Do you smell carrot? Do you remember that smell comment I made yet on Monday? We need Zelda to react to that one. Where are you at? I can't get Zelda. I can't scroll through my stuff fast enough. Oh, no wonder. Nobody tell him, but my subscription ran out. Next time, Gadget. Okay, so anyway, this is going to be a date range of 2024 0201 through 2020. Who writes dates like this? 04, how about today? 0424. So that everyone knows what day it is today, because I always forget what day number of the month is it. Anyway, thank you Thank you for reacting to the joke correctly. This would show, let me think about how this would show. And of course, so this is pretty much saying for this group, which is a report type, essentially, we want to show the records from another table that are for the values from that group. So we would look up first what values are in this group for this date range. So the algorithm that I'm wanting to piece together is how do we get the historical information in this kind of setup, which also might include doing a refactor on the way that the tables are set up to do something like using the ID of the main table when we're auditing our changes. But I don't know. I think I still would want to track the old value and new value in an easy way. Because I'll tell you what the algorithm is currently after we print this out. Welcome back, TBD Gamer. I hope you had a great walk. I hope your dogs treated you well. We're coming up with... I am soliciting, I am crowdsourcing some ideas on redoing this algorithm. No, we aren't saying hi to anyone. And so essentially what this boils down to is displaying information from one table with its history. But the way that we display the information is the hard part. The way that the person asking for this wants to display the data. Oh my gosh, it's so hard to talk. Is a little difficult because when the sun shines, we'll shine together. They want something in the form of, oh, okay. So that's what I was kind of saying. These values here, once we get all of the possible values, including the history of those values, we look up in another table. So we're going to call this our data table. And this is the ID. And this data table, let's say, is specific to or group 1. So the only data in this table applies to group 1. And there is another table that has data that would apply to only group 2. I don't think that that's very representative of how the actual database structure is, but I'm just doing that for not having to explain why these values are the actual values. Anyway, value, and let's make this some kind of measurement. And date. Okay, so in this table, oops, we have a couple of records, and we're gonna imagine, because we have great imaginations, I know all of you do, that we have a value 1 with some measurement, and the date that it was measured was, let's say, 5 days after we added it. Value 2 had a measurement taken on the same date, which is not possible because, yeah, let's do it like this. So measure, value 1 had a measurement done on the 5th and another measurement done on the 15th. And since the 15th was when we said that the second value was added for this report. Value 2 gets a measurement. And that was also taken on the 15th. And then from then on, we pretty much have a value 1 and a value 2 with whatever values they get. And all the way, you know, on a recurring basis, all the way up until today. So this is our main data table for what these values get as measurements when measurements are taken for them. So when we display this table, what we do is we get all of the possible values for group 1, and that would be value 1, value 5 currently. And then we combine that with the history and say, what are the other possible values that could be here? And we see there is a new value of value 5, which matches up to one of our values with group ID 1. And that used to be value 2. Oh, crap. So let's augment this just a little bit. And then let's say someday in the future, like, when did we add this? The 1st of this month? Or not 6, let's say 30, I don't know. Value 1 has a measurement of 100.8 because consistency. And this was on 2024, 0405. Thank you for taking me up there instead of adding a new row. And then 31 will be value 5. And this is 26.124. Why not? 0405. Okay. So what we did is we said we have a query for group 1. Stop that. Get off my mouse. We have a query for group 1 that says, give me all of the data for all of the values. I don't want to call this value anymore. All of the Dukas. When you can't think of a name, just default to Duka because it works. Old Duka, new Duka. Is there a way to like rename across multiple objects? Okay. There we go. Okay, so the first thing that we did is I shall remember that wisdom from now on. If you can't think of a name, default to Duka. Duka variables are the best. Scooch over just a little bit more. So here's what we do so far. For now, we get all records for get all Dukas for the provided group. So in this case, we're looking for group 1, and we want all of the Dukas from the main table. And this is all up for discussion. So if you happen to be following, this is my dog Duka and my kid Duka. Exactly. If you can't remember their names, just call them Dupa. Duka. Hello, Apergra. Thank you so much for the follow. Apergra. Then, okay, I'm going to turn this into a bullet. Then the next thing that we do is get all historical information for each duca we found. So for this first step, what we get back are these records here. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do it that way, actually, because we can. Give me another text. Pasta. Dude, duca. Those are duca ideas. I needs them. Okay, so for this first step, what we get back is this. Wow, I never thought of visualizing it like this. This is kind of nice. For the second step, this is what we get back. U through U. Can I control? No. That would have been nice. No? Control Shift? Oh. Okay, U through U. Welcome, welcome in. I hope you're having a great day today so far. We're just doing some algorithm thinking, some problem solving, some critical thinking, something that I want to figure out. Can I copy this record and paste it to the end of this table? Like, do you actually have a way to attach to the table? No, it does not. Okay, we're just gonna add the record ourselves. This is 5, duca 2, and duca 5, 1, 2024-0401. Okay, so these are the first two steps that I'm taking. Step 1, get all of the ducas for the provided group with the date, not even with the date range, just all possible ducas for the group. Why are you still wrapping? That's weird. Then step 2 is based off of these two ducas that we got back, give me back any historical information for those ducas. So we get this record, and this record back. This record we got back because the new duca is duca 5, and so the history of that is that it used to be duca 2 before then. Oh, we wouldn't have gotten this record back yet. We would have only gotten... Oh yeah, but this is still part of the history. So anyway, because we got duca 2 back, then we check through the history table. Yeah, so I really should put these in this order. We got this one back first from here. We got this one back next from the second record. We said, give me where the new duca or the old duca is duca 5, and give me those records back. Then when we got this record back, we saw there is an old duca named duca 2 that we need the history for as well. So let's pull the history record for duca 2 until we get to a point where old duca is null. Old ducas are the worst. I hope this is still, you can follow this, because I really am looking for help with this. Possibly just by having an ear to talk to, I guess. But there you go. Now we have all, and then we take all of these possible ducas. Yeah, like typically audit tables are what is the record, what is the old value, what is the new value, and what type of change, I think, and the date that the change was made. My son called me old when I turned 40. Well, 40 is old. It's older than 10. But then again, so is 20. And so is 10 in relation to 1. So we're all old, but we're all young. Okay, so that's the step that we're at, TBD Gamer. He's asking, you're using the history table to get the data values. The thing that I am trying to get, yeah, getting values for a date range. The thing that I'm trying to get are all of the values from the actual data table, which has a whole bunch of Duca identifiers, which again, this Duca value could appear in multiple tables. So I currently have a Duca value, Duca 5, that appears in table 1 and table 2. And depending on what table I'm asking for information from, that is going to say, all right, first give me all of the Ducas that I need to query data for, then go to that table and give me all records for the requested date range. So that is our next step. Query the appropriate, table in our example group 1 table or Duca in all of the Ducas we found and date range, date between date range. Okay. So for our current date range, we have February through May, which means that we would not get these first records. And of course, there are other Ducas in here. Gosh, I really don't know how to make it clear that this grouping ID is not just the table itself, but also within that table there are groupings. So let's say that grouping 2 does exist. Yeah, so let's just call this data table. We have one data table for now, but we do have multiples. Other Ducas? There can be only one. Trying to learn for. Oh, jeez. Data table that has that has data for group 1 and group 2. I'll be able to make this more clear in the future. It's just we have a need now, and I'm trying to figure this out, and I was thinking really hard about it last night and broke my brain. So I'm reaching out to you. No. Duca 5 measurements specifically for group 1 are different than Duca 5 measurements specifically for group 2. A contrived example would be, let's say that I was measuring how much bacon. So group 1 is how much bacon did Duca 5, Duca 1 consume. And then group 2 is all the bacon is how much water did group 2 or did each Duca in group 2 consume. So this is giving me measurements back for how much bacon for group 1, how much water for group 2. And he set a goal of 6 units of water. Okay. Okay. I wish I had a better way of mocking this information. I think you're onto something, Dukasoft. I hope you're not drinking RMA water directly. Okay, so that measurements table is generic data capture. I mean, for our purposes it is, but it's actually specific data, and it's chunked differently depending on the actual, what I'm calling Duka. So I'm gonna do this way, and I'm gonna fake some data. I'm trying. Duka's bacon water. This abstraction is breaking my brain. Yeah, I really should just use the actual things. I mean, I'll be there soon, but I want to make this generic enough. Is there something that we can actually use in place of these? I don't know. My name is Duka. I live on the 2nd floor. I live upstairs. Yes, I think you've seen me before. So someone did a reference to whatever that is before. I didn't catch it then. I'm not catching it now. The real group doesn't like groups. The groupa, Duka. I can't. Words are not today for me. What? 202402. Oops. 0205. And then let's say this one is Duke of 5. Nope, Duke of 5 doesn't exist until April 1st. So 2, same date, because they get measured on the same date. Okay, I just want to illustrate what the final piece of the puzzle is, and then we'll be good. Okay. And then I'll try to make it clearly. 15th. Got measured on the same date. Yeah, 444. Got 2. Whatever numbers these aren't 1, 2, 3, 4 anymore because they're completely different records. They're somewhere in the middle here. So let's say 15, 16, 17, 18, and then some dots. Okay, so then we get down here to these last 2 records for the 5th, which was the last time they were measured before this date. That actually paste you inside of this table? Looks like it, yes. Okay. Here's the final piece of the puzzle. So, actually, I'm going to say the whole thing from the beginning. We are taking one table that contains information about what data to look up. So we're going to filter by Duka our data table. But we need to know we need the list of possible Dukas to get data for. Yeah, so this can't be group 1 and 2. This has to be group 1 only. if I'm not adding the extra discriminators that are in the actual database. What is it? Ah, getting spam calls. So we're back to this table only contains information for group 1. There is another table that contains information for only group 2. If I was going to do it the way that I said before, this one would have had an extra column of substance, bacon, 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 and so on and so forth. So all of these would be bacon, and then there would be some records in here that are water that only match Duca 3 and 4. And then some records that are Duca 5 that have both bacon and water. I didn't add it. That's on Tyndall's stream. It's a center for ants. I mean, a school for ants. Okay. Anyway, so this is what we get back. Wait, no, hold on. Back up. First thing we do is we get all of the current Ducas for grouping ID 1. Then we get all of the historical Ducas for group ID 1. We take these two and we trace them in our history table to find any previous values for that. If there is a previous value, then we look up another record for that one and find out if there's another previous. So if Duca 5 was replaced by Duca 7 eventually, for example, Duca 7 would be our current. Then we would have a Duca 7 as the old Duca. Sorry. Duca 7 as the new Duca. Duca 5 as the old Duca on an effective date. And so our total list is going to be Duca 1, Duca 2, Duca 5. Then we do a query into group 1 table for records for Duca 1, Duca 2, and Duca 5 for that date range. And then we get that back. But how we display it is the part that matters. So because we replaced Duca 2 with Duca 5, we still want a continual aggregation over Duca 2 being treated like it was Duca 5 and Duca 5 being treated like it is Duca 2. So what that means is when we output the data to the UI, so many Ducas. This is making me sweat because I'm like, I really should have just went with the actual things. When we output the data to the UI, Duca 2 should be treated as if it is Duca 5, but to represent the, yeah, this is getting into the actual UI output. How can I represent that? The rules for our UI output is if we a this is way more engaging than my actual work, which is basically the programming equivalent of pulling an elephant out of a hat. Okay, all right. So instead of grouping, we're going to go with measurement type ID. Oops. And then same thing with group. What is your, it doesn't have a hotkey. That is so weird. Okay, so this should make a little bit more sense then. We have a whole bunch of measuring devices. We're going to call them meters. And let's say that one of those meters, meter 5, has 2 different measurement types that it can take. Possibly pressure and temperature. Because it's a multimeter. I don't know. And so this is the table that has all of measurement type 1 data. And for our sake, so that we don't keep it way too abstract, we're going to say that this is measuring temperature in Kelvin. I don't know. You are correct, Thindle. You are absolutely correct. And yes, there was a shout out that I completely missed. Thank you so much, Dugazoff, for doing it for Thindle. Thindle is a great application developer working on modernizing a point of sale or e-commerce application and doing an amazing job at it. Definitely check him out when he streams. He typically streams on Tuesdays. He did a weird co-working stream where he stared at the camera and didn't do anything while you sat there and did your work, and he just looked at you weird and made up something about he's co-working even though he wasn't actually doing anything, just watching us through our monitors. His camera is actually not a camera. It's a way for him to see us through the monitor that is watching the stream. No, I really did admire that you were choosing to stream because you had a thing that you wanted to get done. And so you were motivating yourself to do it by streaming and being like, now I can't just go and play games. So that was really cool. I hope you were able to actually get it all done and turned in. Okay, so this should make more sense now. We have a table that says these are the meters that are used with these measurement types. For measurement type 1, we use meters 1 and 5. For measurement type 2, we use meters 3, 4, and 5. Then we have a history because meters can break, meters can be replaced. So in the past, we replaced meter 2 with meter 5. So if we ever query for data from meter 5, we also want to get the data from meter 2 because they're in the same spot. They are just 2 different physical meters, even though they're taking measurements from the same spot. And so yeah, think about that too. All of these meters are positioned strategically wherever you happen to be. So maybe there's one upstairs that's taking the temperature of the attic, and then one that's in the living room that's taking the temperature of the living room, and one that's in the office taking a, you know, that kind of thing. So this tracks all of the changes to the physical meters when we take one out and put another one in. This also means that we can track new meters. So let's say we added a new meter and it's going to be in that corner over there. Then we would have a new record in here that is old meter is null. It's not replacing an old meter. And new meter is meter 6. That's sitting over there now. Cool. So that sounds like a normal audit table, right? Where the only thing that we are tracking is the meter in that table. So what I could do is, instead of having old meter measurement type ID, I could be like for ID 2, the new meter is meter 5. Or the old meter was meter 2. Because the new meter would be the one that is there. Yeah, this is why I opted to keep track of both the old and new, because I could easily look that up. Okay, let me throw a wrench in this, because this is a possible scenario. TVD Gamer's statement, which is very true, very valid. If a meter tracks 2 measurements and the meter is replaced, the group is irrelevant. However, let's say that the thing that happens with meter 5 in the future is it loses the ability to track temperature, but we still don't have a replacement meter to track, what was the second thing that I said? I need to write this down. So meter 2 would be, I'm sorry, but this is actual real world scenario. I'm not trying to be difficult. This is something that does happen. Let's say that this can actually track humidity. Okay, so they have something that used to be able to track both temperature and humidity. The thermometer on it broke, but they don't have a replacement to replace the whole thing with. Instead, what they have is an extra temperature only meter. You say you're being cheap and you don't want to replace meter 2 with a meter that can measure both the things, so you're adding a meter 5. But the thing is that you're putting it in the same place. So meter 5 broke, this thing that can measure 2 different things broke. So we have a new record in our table that says, table. For meter 5, it's not getting replaced. Wait. No, it is getting replaced. It's getting replaced by meter 6 for temperature only. Man, that thing did not last long, did it? Which means that meter 5, and it's getting put in a close enough spot to where meter 5 used to be, that it can be treated like it's still meter 5 as far as temperature is concerned. But we are only measuring humidity on meter 5 at this specific location. There. Which means that up here, this becomes meter 6, this stays meter 5, and the data gets updated to have nope, it should have been above this one. Oops, 0, 4, and 5. Okay, so now when we query for data, and let's say we haven't taken any measurements because I don't feel like adding a record down here for meter 6. Now when we're querying for data, we have meters 1, 5, 6, and 2. And so all of the data that we get back will be from 1, 5, 6, and 2 for that date range. Oops. Oof. Okay. Okay. So the way you have the data right now, if you have a table solely for measurement type 1, then you don't need the audit table to figure out what meters, surely, because any measurements taken from measurement type 1 is in that time range are valid. Or am I still being dense? You aren't being dense. You don't have the whole picture. And I want to give you the whole picture. And hello, Rob Langdev. So, table 1 is specific to, yeah, here we go. So we'll go with the same house analogy. Which, yeah, we really do need that discriminator. I don't know. Okay. So table 1, this table here, measurement type 1, has all of the measurements for the meters in this house. But it also has all of the temperature measurements for the meters in your house. And so when I'm picking a report to run, I'm telling it which house, or which report type, so which measurement type, which house, and the date range. And then there's even more information. So imagine that the total number of things that you can query on is variable depending on the measurement type. So for example, another thing could be, like, let's say we segregated the data into a morning reading and an evening reading. Then we may have 2 records inside of our main, our measurement type table for the same meter for the same day, but one is labeled as morning reading and the other is labeled as evening reading. Yeah, that's the best analogy I can come up with. I think that is the case. Meter 1 cannot exist in house 1 and 2 in this analogy. But meter 1 can exist in the different measurement types. Yeah. So like my primary discriminator for this table is not measurement type, but it's the combination of, for this selected report that we're wanting to give information on, for this specific meter type, measurement type, and then any additional filters on that. So if there is a, whatever I mentioned before, if there is a morning versus evening reading, then you would select one or both. Yeah, maybe I should just wait until I get the actual, until we are officially working on the app. But I really need to have this done now, because like the ultimate goal is how to display the data in the end. Like goal one is how to accumulate the data. How do I get all of the relevant data to the report options? Then two, when I have all of that data, how do I output it in a way that shows, even though I'm showing you data for meter 2, we are treating it as data for meter 5 for this date range. How to display the data. I needed a password 8 characters long, so I picked up Snow White and the 7 Dwarfs. Rumbling says that's terrible. All of them are. They're great. Greatly terrible. Okay. So yes. So here's another example of why I need this algorithm worked out before I implement this. There's another case where, let's say we did a query for date range through 3/29, 2024. Meter 5 did not exist in 3/29, but I would still want to get the data for meter 2, and the report output would only show meter 2 without meter 5 in parentheses, because meter 5 did not exist. So if a date range, if a specific meter was active for the entirety of the date range and there are no other historical meters that were active in that date range, we only want to display the meter number when we're outputting the values. Because like the other thing that I forgot to say is, in the end, what we are doing is we are summing or averaging or somehow aggregating the information for a given meter and putting it on a chart. And so on the chart, we would have a XY axis type thingy where the vertical in this case is temperature, the horizontal is which meter. And so on that chart for this case specifically, we would have meter 1 as 1x value and meter 5/meter 2 as the second value. And those two numbers would get aggregated together for maybe in this case average temperature. My wife asked me to put ketchup on the shopping list, but now I can't read it. That's some thick ketchup. Okay. Okay. So I've spouted it all out. Hopefully some of it makes sense. So the first thing that I think needs to happen is to rethink this whole table structure. Like scrap it all, start over from the beginning. The only thing that I cannot modify are the tables that contain the data. I got Duca out of it. Me too. I got that too. So if there is, because like, I can't do this without just showing the entire table structure. Yeah. Yeah. So let's think of it that way. If that way works for you, because that is pretty much exactly what it is. All of these are aliases for a given meter. So our history is actually, this meter was formerly known as this, effective this date. Or up until this date, I guess. And so what we would do is we would trace back through this history table for a given meter, or forward, depending on where we're starting. Well, we're starting from the current, so yeah. Yeah, exactly. So the combination in this case of meter type ID and meter name, tracing that back to say, all right, I see meter 2. Is there a meter 2 with measurement type 1? Yes, there is. Okay. Then what did that used to be? Null. Okay, so this must be the when we first set up meter 2. And that was effective this date. The hardest one is going to be when we are, oh gosh, yeah. this is another hard one for my brains. Meter 4 got completely destroyed. In fact, we just took off that part of the house and it's no longer part of the house anymore. So we are not going to replace meter 4. We're just getting rid of it. I forgot about this one. Hello, foolish Snubble. All right, so meter 4 got removed. We're not replacing it. However, let's say we're doing a query for measurement type 2 for the same date range. And you'll notice that meter 4 did exist at some point in time during that date range between 2024-0101 and 2024-0401. So we should still output it in our data. That's why I couldn't just use main table to begin with. Or that's why I couldn't just use the measurement table, because there's nothing about this measurement table that says this is the table that is to be used for this type of data, except for app logic. And nothing that says that this record meter 2 has anything to do with this record meter 5. So this table here is to let me know what are all of the possible meters for measurement type 2, and give me any other measurement type 2s that may have existed during this date range. So I think that I'm still at the same point that I was last night when I stopped with this. Mine does. For each of the active meters, you only care about adults that are X arrows meter Y. Correct. Correct. However, active meter means active meter for that date range. Because what happens when X is meter Y and the arrows to meter Y is null, which means that there is no active meter. But it's still part of that measurement group. Gimme. I just want to break my brain even more. Okay. So here's what we did. Use main table to get all active meters for given measurement type. I just don't like calling it measurement type anymore because it's like it's the combination. This ID here is the combination of the report and measurement type. More like the report and house. Yeah. So this is more like the measurement type and house combination. And that would make this the measurement type plus house combination. Oops. Oh, I don't know. But what if you wanted to get all the thindles? Now the tables are full of dukas. Well, this is not a bad thing. There's still room for Tyndalls. And I'm sure he's hiding out at your house anyway. Okay, so I guess we have one more thing up here, which is a table. I'm just going to steal this one. That is measurement type plus house. Measurement type. I don't know, something like that. This is, I wish I could show you the actual data structure, but it's pretty much this. And then we have a table over here of measurement types. Well, that made it a whole lot clearer. And this is temperature. Oh, which I guess measurement type ID is the ID column. And this one was humidity. And then on the other side, we have the house ID. Indle house. Duke house. So again, it's it's a lot more complex than this. This is a very simplified version of, we have this relational table for a many-to-many relationship between measurement type and house, called measurement type house. And that's what this represents. And these are all of the meters for that measurement type in that house. Relationships are always complicated, right? So that's what this thing is for. Meters used. In a very specific, they spelled measurement wrong. In a specific house. Brain breaking. Brain breaking. Too complicated, in fact. Very true. Okay, so this table is supposed to represent meters that are used for a specific measurement type in a specific house. Which, oh, this does not make sense then. Let's do this instead. Yeah, let's do it like this. You're going to tell us there's a meters table too. Surprisingly, no. These meters, they don't have a lookup table at all. You can add a meter name willy-nilly to the data table. Like they take measurements and then they turn that into a CSV and dump it into this table with just meter names. Meter names and values. That's all. Meter names, measurement type, value. The end. However, yeah. However, there is another table. There is another table that has a lookup for meters and where they're located. So again, it's not constrained. There is no relationship constraint that says it must exist in a specific table. It's just, let's put meter 5 with location X this number, location Y this number, and purpose this purpose. And make sure that that shows up on a map at that XY location. So what I mean to say is all of the meters should be in that main map table, but this is not related to that map table strongly. I could look up a meter and do my own join to that map table, but that map table is in a different database even. What about the centimeters? Well, those are old, so we got rid of them all. We replaced them with millimeters. I didn't do a good job of making the joke any funnier. But the Planck lengths. Planck's constant. All right, let's make a nice normalized database. But what about meters? Nah, forget them. We'll just copy the string around. Exactly. And not only that, these appear in multiple databases as loose strings. That's the thing though. The name of it will never change. Although, you know what? That's kind of not true. Now that I think of it, now that you said that, I do have a table. Yeah. I do have a table where I map the imported, so they have a completely different system that exports all of these measurements. I have a table that maps the name used in that export file to a meter name. The thing is that there are more meters that get entered in a different way than that export system. So that one only covers 138, and I think there's in upwards of thousands of different meters. Okay, that said, how do we fix this? How do we make this better, easier to manage, and easier to query? Because like I said, the first goal is tell me all of the meters that I need to get data for. The second goal is display the data in this aggregate kind of way, indicating when there were meter changes, but still keeping those meters as one specific meter. We'll never do that. Searching for scripts to change meter names. No. But honestly, like the meter name that gets added to that massive table with all of the measurements. You're not always working. Don't lie to people. The massive table with all of the measurements for all of time, which is, of course, meter ID, date that the measurement was taken, what the value of it is it valid data or not, a bunch of other extra fields with that. Oh, comments, QC, notes, bunch of stuff like that. Come on. Do the thing. No. How is the bot working but not the archery game? I failed you. Try again? You just wasted a paw point. Oh, are you doing the thing again? Anyone else that uses Twitch Lib? Have you been experiencing issues where you get disconnected from the Twitch API? Services. You know, I think I might be able to refund Twitch. No, not the Twitch bot service. Yes, the Twitch bot service. Start. Here we are, 10 minutes away from ending the stream, and we found that it has been broken this entire time. Thickdale is too dumb for me to be able to have an opinion or any kind of feedback about that. But this one is just like the pub sub Twitch lib thing, which I guess if the only thing you use it for is chat, then probably you don't use the pub sub. Endpoints? I don't know what it's called. The one where you have to authenticate using Twitch. Okay. How do we do? No? Still no? I don't know. I think it's broken. Did you even pick up that I had a redemption, dude? Yes, it's picking up the redemption, but it's not starting the game. I hope that was just a fuzz. You. Do the refresh thing. Yay. Too high. Again. Too high. Again. Yes. Oh my gosh. A 95 hacks. All right. So yeah. I really am asking though, if you see a better way for me to track history in a way, you know, track the meter changes for a given house for a given measurement type. So let's say it's those three things that I need to check. So the meter for a measurement type for a house, for a specific house. And this table here, the one that actually has the data and the measurements, does not tell us which house it's for. I don't think I understand your comment. It would be funny if it hit 0 on the x-axis. The x got set to max. But a meter can only be attached to one house in that time period. So you need a distinct list of meters. Yes, but we would get back a distinct... I mean, yes. 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 Oh, okay. So I purposefully have it set to where the target can only, or spawns between 50% of the width of the max distance all the way through the max distance. So it will never be over here. Oh. Nice shot. Thank you so much for the lurk. We're almost done streaming anyway. That took a lot. That took a lot. Maybe we'll talk about this some more. I mean, I'm probably gonna have this figured out tonight and start implementing it. But really, if you do have any thoughts on organizing this, like the tables that I can change are I could change these too. But yeah, I have a lookup table. What was measurement type related to? What did I analogize that to? The flow. What the flow? Yeah, and then houses system. So this groups meters together as a system. So let's call system 1 Thindle's house the Thindle's house system. I don't know, it's just a Thindle's house system. And then there's a Duca house system for all of the different meter types that they could possibly use. And then there are 2 meter types, 2 measurement types. And both of the houses can use both or have both. And that's what this ID represents here. And that's what this ID is here. So it's this one. You don't? I thought you did automated roams. That's mean. And so the this table is saying what meters are available in that house that are for that measurement type. And then this table says when we place a new meter, when did we place it? So when did it start taking measurements? And in which house? And for what purpose? I'm pretty sure after all this, my passwords are either Duca or Thindle or some combination of both. Yeah. I don't know. This actually did help me visualize it though. Dinthasoft. Did you know that if you mix up the letters in Thindle, you get Dinthasoft? Wait, what? That doesn't quite work, does it? moment, please. Oh, explaining that was hard, and it was probably even harder for any of you that were actually following along and willing to try to help, and because I didn't do a very good job of explaining it or generalizing it so that I don't. Yeah. I hope you still enjoyed yourselves, though. You are still here, for those of you that are still here. That's it for my time, though. And what we's gonna do is we's gonna find a place that we's gonna target and we's gonna go to, and we's gonna go there. Thank you so much for, what is that, a follow? Thank you so much for the follow. We will be back on Friday. If you understand the DB schema, you can query for the password. Oh, that's what I was doing wrong. This was fun, and sorry I couldn't be more help. You were absolutely helpful in the simple act of listening and actually trying to follow along. I really, really appreciate that. Yeah. What I could do is share the Fig Jam and just let you mark it up. Be like, no, you're doing it all wrong. I don't mind doing it wrong. I still haven't posted my video from Monday yet, so I'll do that immediately after the stream, and then I'll post today's VOD. Chat is the bestest rubber duck. They even respond sometimes. It wasn't as often as my actual rubber duck response, though. But yeah, I know what you mean. Anyway, I'm looking for a target. So I can't because all of my streams are frozen. All of the people that I am lurking on, it's my thingy that froze. Okay, there we go. Unfroze? Unfroze. Okay. Sure. Yeah. Why not? As long as... Okay, so here's what keeps happening. Everyone is just frozen, and Seto's stream is stuck on the ad. So maybe I can just go directly through Twitch and not use multi-stream. I don't think so. So I'm okay with rating Seto, but I can't actually get a video to play. Yeah, it keeps freezing. And it's definitely not paused. But anyway, if I get my stuff up and running, then I will be actively lurking on Seto's stream, but I'm not actually going to raid there because I won't be able to hear him greet us or anything like that. So I'd feel really bad doing that. So I'm just going to end my stream. But again, I appreciate you all being here. We were judged by AI. I hope you enjoy your day. I will be back again on Friday. Deflux, I just said that I'm not going to raid because I can't actually see videos playing. So yeah, I'm not going to raid. Okay, I'll be back on Friday for Community Day with hopefully a PC that doesn't want to, or that does want to cooperate and not have frozen videos. But yeah, Friday will be Community Day, and I won't talk about this. I'll talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. And by this, I mean the algorithm and stuff, unless you're interested in that, of course. But yeah. Okay, ciao for now. Bye.